Do you ever feel unfulfilled, like there's something missing, even if you're not quite sure exactly what that might be? Or maybe you do have a clear idea of your goals and the things that you'd like to accomplish, perhaps with the hope that doing so might lead to a feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. But perhaps there's also an accompanying sense of frustration or lack because you're not quite there yet. In this video, we'll be exploring the idea of fulfillment through both a therapeutic and a Christian lens, and at the end of the video, we'll be looking at some ideas from St. Thérèse of Lisieux and C.S. Lewis that might offer you some different perspectives. Hello and welcome to The Narrow Way. I'm Alex, a practicing therapist, and in my practice many people come to see me because they want something to change or to be different. Now that often relates to feelings, but it can relate to specific circumstances as well, or even the abstract idea that there's somewhere better that I could be, or that there's a better version of myself out there, and how do I get to that place? Now, having ambitions and goals I think is really important because it gives us something to focus on and offers us the chance to fulfill our potential. But people can often feel bad for not being where they think that they should be in life, and something that I think is really important to consider when pursuing change is what happens afterwards. If we do achieve and accomplish all the things that we want to, what then? Now, these are themes that often get explored in therapy, and unpacking the unconscious dynamics that motivate our desires and values and the things that we want in life can be a challenging process that takes time and effort. For example, might moving towards something actually be a way of avoiding or escaping other difficult feelings? And I think it's also natural and normal to want help with these things. If you had a hobby, for example, you might take lessons. If you played a sport that you enjoyed, you might see a coach. So I think that can also apply to other areas of our life too. But knowing how to live can be a much more complicated and personal thing to approach. Now, staying with sport, I saw an interview recently with Scottie Scheffler, who is the world's #1 golfer, and he had something really interesting to say. This is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from the sense of the deepest places of your hearts. There's a lot of people that make it to what they thought was going to fulfill them in life, and then you get there and all of a sudden you get to #1 in the world and you're like, what's the point? Now that's a really interesting thing for him to say, and surprising in a number of ways. Here you have someone who's got to a level in his profession that many aspire to, but few can only dream of. And of course, being the world's #1 golfer is an incredible achievement and certainly something to celebrate. But it seems like in Scottie's case, there's only so much satisfaction and fulfillment that it provides him. In the interview, he goes on to say, "That's why I talk about family being my priority. It really is. I'm blessed to be able to come out here and play golf. But if my golf ever started affecting my home life or affecting the relationship I have with my wife and with my son, that's going to be the last day I play out here for a living." Now, Scottie Scheffler is also a Christian, and marriage and family are things that the faith places a really big emphasis on. So I would imagine that that's had a big influence on him and the things that he finds value and meaning in. St. Thérèse of Lisieux said that what matters in life is not great deeds, but great love. And this is a message that we see echoed throughout the Gospels. Christ himself said that the two most important commandments are to love God and to love thy neighbour as thyself. And that still means loving thyself and acknowledging our needs and taking responsibility for meeting them, I think, is a sign of maturity. But perhaps there's a different quality to the sense of fulfillment and satisfaction involved when we act and behave with someone else's needs in mind. Another Christian thinker who had a really interesting take on fulfillment was C.S. Lewis, who argued that nothing in this world can ultimately fulfill our deepest desires. He said that we all have longings for things like truth and beauty and permanence, and things like art, music, success and romance can give us a taste of what satisfying these desires feels like, but without being able to do so permanently. He said, "If I find in myself a desire which no experience in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that I was made for another world." And that whilst we can enjoy and pursue the things that this world has to offer, we shouldn't look to them for ultimate fulfillment, which lies in union with God in the life to come. Now, I wonder what you think about some of these ideas, or the things that you find offer a sense of fulfillment in your life. It would be great to hear from you in the comment section. As I mentioned, I am a practicing therapist, and if there are things that have come up for you today that you might like to explore further, you can reach out to me. My details are in the description on this channel. I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.